What's going on, everybody? Cheers. Happy Easter. Got myself a little lemonade and gin, because why not? It's an Easter Sunday and I'm off for once, and whatever. That's how I do. I've been blessed you guys with a video in a hot minute. I've been busy doing a lot of things. I've been playing at local breweries in Chicago. I guess that's the thing now, that breweries have EDH night. It's pretty cool. One of the breweries needs to up their table game because you can't even fit 4 playmats on a table. It's a mess. The tables are way too narrow to play. The other brewery got their act together. They do a nice event. Shout out to Half Acre. Delicious beers. So yeah, I hit you with the deck tech for Alandra, Alandra Sky Dreamer. I read an article on EDH Rec that said there's this one and there's a green deck that functionally does the same thing, where on your second draw you get a token, and that they basically said that they're underwhelming. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. Alandra's a menace. I've played 2 games with it and I've won both games. Not easily, but handily. The first game I played, which I have video of, and there's technical difficulties, and I don't know if they're like funny technical difficulties or the gameplay is garbage because of the technical difficulties. But whatever, I won that game. The 2 things that I have to note when playing this deck though are the triggers. The first trigger, when you draw your second card, you know, she has to be on play, obviously. It doesn't happen if you draw 2 cards, but then the more important one is that the second trigger, when you draw your 5th card, that's when the drakes get the buff. And so, you know, even if you draw 10 cards, you have to mark the amount of cards you had in your hand at the 5th draw, which I didn't do the first time, and I made sure to do it the second time I played, when I won again with the deck. Because as long as you have a no max hand size card, like, you know, Library Link or Wizard Class or Reliquary Tower, whatever no max hand size, that's the thing that's important. Because, you know, when you draw your 5th card, even if the drakes get +7/+7, that's fantastic. It's really easy to draw 5 cards in this deck as well, which is hilarious because you wouldn't think so. But if you get, like, there's the one Monastery Siege, I think it is, where you draw a card at the beginning of your draw, an additional card at the beginning of your draw step, and then discard a card. As long as you got Alandra and that in play, you're making drakes every turn. And then if you get, obviously I make decks, so there are lots of instant cards where you can draw 2 cards on your opponent's turn. So if you can kick out 3 drakes or even 2 drakes, by the time it comes back to your turn, you're fine. And, you know, chances are whatever you have in the air is bigger than what they have in the air, or that no one has anything in the air. So if you can swing in for like 21, that's phenomenal. This deck is a menace. It is an absolute menace. I didn't spend that much money. I think I spent $100 on it. And I think I can make it a lot more tuned if I, you know, maybe I throw a couple extra turn spells in there, or just throw better draw spells. And there's some stuff in there that's like mid-table at best, but the deck is phenomenal. This deck is phenomenal. I love it. I took apart my Octavia Living Thesis deck to make this deck, because that was a lot of hoops to jump through. It was fun to play with because you do just draw, dump out a bunch of 8/8s, but this is a little more refined version of that. It's a phenomenal deck. I love to play it. Whatever. Have a good day. Hope you guys have a great Easter. Thank you for continuing to subscribe to my channel, even though I haven't been making videos as much as I used to, just because it's a pain in the ass to get 4 people to play. It's a pain in the ass. Let someone cancel when you got 3 dudes playing Magic, and no one likes to play 3-player games because it's a game of Kingmaker. But hopefully I'm gonna meet some more people at these EDH nights at local breweries, get a couple new guys in the crew, get a couple more people in the crew, then we can start pushing out more regular games, and, you know, I can start doing more content. Because I'm not going to make decks just to make decks. You know, my wife will divorce me if I keep spending, you know, money on cards I'm not even using. So, whatever. Thank you guys. And again, I appreciate you guys still subscribing to my channel. And hopefully we can start doing more videos. Alright guys, cheers.
What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna hit you with a deck check. You know how I do. We are going for Alandra the Sky Dreamer, or Alandra Sky Dreamer. She is a 2 colorless, double blue, legendary creature, merfolk wizard. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 Jimmy Wheelchair, aka Drake token with flying. Maybe you draw your 5th card each turn. Alandra the Sky Dreamer and Drakes you control get XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So, who doesn't like drawing cards? Who doesn't like making little Jimmy Wheelchair, Aubrey tokens? I do. I played this game once the other day and it won. This is the first time out with it and it did fantastic. I found out that it's very easy to draw 2 cards a turn in mono blue, and shockingly it's very easy to draw more than 5 cards a turn in mono blue. I recovered from a board wipe to get a board state back. I ended up having to spend, I think, 10 mana to bring her out at one point. And you know what, whatever. It did what it did and it was fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's basically the Octavia Living Thesis deck, but a little more, with fewer hoops to jump to get it going. I read some article, I don't know if it was on EDH Rec or wherever it was, talking about how this card and the mono green one that triggers on your 2nd draw each turn was underwhelming or something along those lines. And I don't agree. I didn't agree when I read it because I saw the card and I was like, oh, that looks like a fun deck. And again, I only played it one deck, but just going off of it, I don't think it's going to be very hard. I mean, I killed a guy with 2 Drakes. I had 4 Drakes plus her, and they were all plus 24, plus 24. So it's not rocket science how to get this guy, how to get your Drakes big. So let's go. Here's the land package, nothing crazy. We got a bunch of non-basics here. We got a Desert of the Mindful for that cycle, draw a card. War Room, draw a card. Surgical Bay, draw a card. Blasted Landscape, cycle, draw a card. Remote Isle, cycle, draw a card. Lonely Sandbar, Myriad Landscape, and Memorial to Genius. All things that will let you draw a card on your opponent's turn. You know, even if there's a cycle, there are cards in this deck that let you. There are instances that you could play in this deck that make you draw cards on your opponent's turn. So you cycle a land, you draw a card, you play an instant, let you draw a card, and then there you go. And then we got 27 islands. There you go, 27 islands. It's a nice mix. I got some full art, some other ones. Basically just a bunch of random islands that I had laying around. My friend Mike once said that the mana base is the most important thing you have to curate for a deck, just because if you don't like the way your lands look, you're not going to want to play them. So I always take a good amount of time to select my lands in a deck. So just because this deck needs its commander in play to make it work, I mean, it could work if you have Talrand in play, but whatever. This deck is entirely dependent on either Talrand, Murmuring Mystic, or Alandra being in play. And so we need protections. I normally don't run both of them, but here we are. Tims and fake Tims, the Carhartts, the Lightning Greaves, and Swift Boots. So how are we going to draw cards with our Drakes? We got Coastal Piracy. When the Drakes hits a dude, there you go, draw a card. Teferi's Aegis Insight, making you draw 2 cards for every draw instead of 1, unless it's your first draw step, so there you go. Wizard class, fantastic card. No maximum hand size, which what you want in this deck. Then you get to draw cards, and the final iteration of it is whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, making your Drakes even bigger. Magic Mirror, again, helping you draw cards, helping you do stuff, helping you give no maximum hand size. Fantastic. Bident, just like Coastal Piracy, letting you draw cards when you hit somebody. This card is probably the MVP of the deck, just because it's so cheap and lets you draw your 2nd card each turn. It enables you to draw more Drakes. This card's kind of whatever. I discarded a bunch of good stuff, but I prefer to have the Flying Drakes instead of whatever I had discarded. Kindred Discovery, again, whenever a Drake comes to play, draw a card. Military Intelligence, when you attack with 2 more creatures, draw a card. You're going to be attacking with 2 more creatures. And High Tide for that extra blue mayonnaise. Then we got some creatures in the deck. We got Clever Imposter. Always a good card, always versatile. Never really going to let you down. Copy the best thing on the board. Copy one of your enchantments. Whatever. It's good stuff. Kefnet. Got Eternal Kefnet. So it's gonna, if your first card is one of your draw spells, you can copy it and cast it for 2 less. And keep the original copy for more draw fun. Murmuring Mystic, like I just said, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, make a little bird. I found out today that I do not have any blue bird tokens. So I'm going to get hated on when I use my white bird tokens. I have 0 blue bird tokens. Archmage Emeritus, you know what it does. This card here burned through my life like nobody's business the other day, and I did not care. We got Defiler of Dreams. 3 colors and double blue for a Phyrexian Sphinx. It's flying, so you pay 2 life for each blue mana symbol you got. I was just burning through my life, and when you cast a blue permanent, draw a card. I think I preferred the draw a card thing. Nezahal, no maximum hand size. You know what it does. Spark double. Letting you copy Alandra or Talrand, whatever. Windreader Sphinx, always a good thing. My favorite card ever. One of my favorite cards are Psychosis Crawler. 5 colorless, its power and toughness equal to the cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. So, there you go. You've drawn a lot of cards, you make them lose life. Also, a Drake, Loyal Drake. Flying Lieutenant, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control your commander, draw a card. Wave Break Hippocamp. Whenever you cast your first spell during your opponent's turn, draw a card. Again, there's a couple cards in here that you draw 1 card at instant speed. If that's how you played 1 or 2 of them on your opponent's turn, by the time you get back to your turn, you might have an additional 3 Drakes. That sounds fun to me. Curiosity Crafter. No maximum hand size again. Whenever your creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Here's a Substitute Teacher, Substitute Commander. Talrand, you know what it does. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, make another Drake. And then there's this guy. Unctus Grand Metatech. 1 colorless, double blue. It reads, other blue creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card and then discard a card. So, let's say for instance, you attack with 4 tokens. And you have Alandra in play. You've already drawn 1 card. You turn these bad boys sideways. That means you're drawing 4 cards, triggering the second Alandra's second ability, giving you them XX and her XX for the cards in your hand. So off the rip, they're going to be at least 7 7s, which is okay. Here comes some removal. We got Rapid Hybridization, Resculpt, Reality Shift, and Aetherize. 2 counter spells. Arcane Denial, also let you draw a card and counterspell. They're straight up. So Mana Rocks, Mind Stone, letting you draw a card if you need it. This card is a house. Scepter of the Eternal Glory. 4 colorless. Tap 1 for any color. Then tap 3 for 3 of any color if you control 3 of the same lands. Tapping for 3 all day. You already know it. Soul Ring, Sky Diamond, Heraldic Banner, getting you the +1/0. Arcane Signet, Fellwar Stone, and Font of Endless Waters. Again, giving you max and no maximum hand size. Then we got a couple of wacky artifacts. Credit Voucher, letting you shuffle your hand into your library, then draw that many cards. Elhamerit's letting you draw double cards, and if you do gain life, you gain double. Teferi's Puzzle Box, probably drawing you more than 5 cards a turn. And Brainstorm. Now here comes the meat and potatoes of it, the stack of instants and sorcery they got. Behold the Multiverse, instant speed, draw 2. Flux, letting you, again, discard any number of cards you got in your hand, draw that many, draw a card on top of it. So when I look at these, like Flux, Finale of Revelation, they're basically stampede effects for your Drakes. So if I cast this, I discard 4 cards on my turn, draw 5, they're gonna get the bonus. If I tap this and cast that for 7, they're getting the +5, and I'm refilling my hand. So that's how I look at those things. They're mostly like overrun effects. Same thing with Pull from Tomorrow. It's an X spell, it's an overrun effect. Think Twice, instant speed, draw a card with a flashback. Silver Scrutiny, it could be instant speed, draw a card if I don't pay that much into it. Preordain, Serum Visions, Thirst for Knowledge, Taking a Treasure Cruise, Thirst for Meaning, Deliberates, Compulsive Research, one of my pet cards I try to run whenever I can. Latman's Legacy. It is a wild card from Alliances, so it's 1 colorless, 1 blue for instant speed. Choose a card from your hand, shuffle into your library. At the next upkeep, draw 2 cards. So you can cast it at your turn, shuffle a card in, and then the next turn, you get the 2 cards and a Drake. Thirst for Discovery. Open into Wonder, again making your guys unblockable. And drawing a card. Opt. Frantic Research. Tolarian Winds. Chemistry Insight. And Brainstorm. So that's the deck. Alandra, Sky Dreamer. You're gonna be flooding the board with these Drakes, turning them sideways, and hopefully winning the game. Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think.